everybody. Welcome to another special spooky edition of Cafe Con Leche in the morning, or as you may know as Christian and Diego, Be Well Kanima podcast. Today we have a great topic for you. We are finally going to zone and focus in on the information for the ladies. So yes, women out there who always have questions about strength training, because it is very common, especially amongst my clients, Leche's clients, and a lot of women around the world, where do we begin? What do we do? Yada, 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 things like that. The list goes on. And we're going to do our best to break it down the best we can. Now, first and foremost, you'll notice these fun doodles behind us because, spooky stuff.
Courtesy of Diego, our new graphic designer.
I don't want to brag, but I can doodle, let me tell you. So if you get a little scared, don't be. They're fake, I can erase them just like that. So when it comes to it, a lot of the women, at least that I've trained, I'm using the ones that I've trained, the ones who I know personally, as mostly going to be as my answers to. A lot of them that I have don't understand well or don't understand well enough, where they wonder, what do we need from the gym? Why should we go to the gym? Is the gym even necessary for us? And the question and the answer that I'm going to provide is absolutely yes. Everybody needs a gym, women included, just as much, if not more important than men. We need to be lifting, ladies. Now, Leche, when you want your clients to lift, how do you break it down of this is going to be great for you because so-and-so and so-and-so?
Thank you, Diego.
You got it.
Great introduction, by the way. Great drawings, by the way.
Thank you, man.
Of course.
I'm going to quit my job and go become an artist.
All right. So when it comes to lifting, especially for women, I feel like there's a whole stigma.
Yes.
Good word, Christian.
Great word, Leche.
Of that lifting or lifting weights or doing anything, working out is more of a masculine, activity. I don't know why it's that way, but it's been kind of made out to the way. I guess maybe because of bodybuilders back in the 70s and 80s kind of made it that way. Big, bulky bodybuilder dudes. And that's all it's for. But it's very false. Women, like Diego said, need it just as much, if not more, due to many different things. Men and women are completely different in terms of their bodies, in terms of hormones, basically how their bodies react to certain stimulus with working out. So again, it's just as important. And then again, we can cover so many things of what myths are out there, the day-old myth of I think the biggest one everyone hears or worries about is oh, I'm gonna get too bulky when I'm lifting.
Golly, I hate that myth. Let me tell you,
it's not going to happen. The question I always ask after that is so are you eating 250 grams of protein a day? And then they respond with no, 100% of the time. And then I'm like, well, there you go. I
usually show prime examples. I'm like, look at this. Look at here. I am not a big person. I'm very puny, in fact, and I've been lifting for years.
Yeah.
What makes you think after one day you're going to beat my 5 years of lifting?
Yeah, I don't know why that myth was created, because then it's also you have to have testosterone levels, out the wazoo, which women do not have. So
what?
Yeah. So that there's a difference in men versus women. But basically kind of going off that, so when I train women, it's again a little bit different, but it's not too different from when I train any male client as well. We're going to get the same kind of results as expected per person. We're going to have improvements in body composition, improvements in energy, improvements in just well-being overall. And I think a big one, especially for women, is kind of in your mind, a whole mental kind of aspect.
Yes.
It helps a lot with that.
A big thing with the mental thing, especially for my clients, is they're scared. A lot of them are scared to be what if that thing crushes me? And sometimes we start off usually I start off pretty light, to get everybody introduced to the gym, and immediately I have that where that neurological thing adds up and blocks them from success. Be I don't know, what if that hits me? I was hear me out, humor me, try it. If these 10 pounders, if I cannot pick them up out of you and they hurt you, then you know what? That was on me. But usually that is not the case. Just like anybody else, we have to start from the beginning. Is a very good place to start. It's Julie Andrews from The Sound of Music, and then we pick it up as we go. So when you give you these weights, when you start off these weights, these light weights, at worst they'll tweak something at worst, like worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think even 5 pounds or 10 pounds, usually that's where I start. We start low. We start 10 to 15. It's rare that someone has actually tweaked themselves to 15 pounds. It's possible, probably, maybe, but real rare. And that's a big neurological standpoint where a lot of people just don't want to do it because of, again, that stigma of like, oh, we can't do this. It's a very scary place. And I got spooky stuff. I get it. Halloween's around the corner, so you're going to have this mindset, maybe a little bit tougher.
Yeah, that is true.
When it comes to also lifting for women, the reason I say it's more important too, because you said everybody gets the same basically results, but women, sadly, you're gonna have to work a little bit harder to get those results. So it's very vital that you're in the gym more than actual men. Because for me, sadly, I will drop a few pretty quickly. I don't want to brag, but pretty quickly, and that's a basic goal most people have when they come. As for women, it's a little bit tougher to do it, so it's a little bit more vital that you get in here, especially if you have those goals when it comes to it.
It's always different with men and women. Women naturally always tend to have like a higher fat mass just because anatomically that's just how we were made. So it does take a little bit, more effort in a sense in both the gym and outside of the gym when we're talking about diet and stuff. But I think we can kind of move into our segue,
Yes. Another great word.
Thanks, man.
Are you even doing the Wordle?
I don't know, maybe,
I don't really want to mess with
I've
you
been
against
reading
Scrabble.
the dictionary lately, just looking at new words. But I guess moving into like the next thing of like upper body versus lower body. One common thing you kind of see is, so it's like if we're looking at this kind of at like a scale of like, this is women who lift and this is women who don't lift. Right in the middle is kind of women that kind of do half and half. They come into the gym and they only do lower body. Which you're halfway there.
Yep.
But your upper body, is also included. And that's where I think it also kind of ties back into that, don't want to look bulky, They do all the work for the legs, for the glutes and all that to make sure that looks good, but then we don't do anything for the upper body. And then women always wonder why they do carry just, maybe a little bit more extra weight up top, but that's why we have to get the full body training in.
Speaking of the dictionary with the full body and lower body, a lot of women want this thing called snatch. Have you heard of the term?
I didn't get to the S's yet in my dictionary.
So let me explain.
Technically, both words I actually did were S. I haven't gotten to that one yet.
Let me break it down for you. When it comes to snatch, my clients brought it down to me because they asked me, "It's like I want to snatch." In my opinion, I'm a kettlebell guy. So if you tell me snatch, I'm either giving you a dumbbell, kettlebell, barbell, and we're gonna triple extension all the way up. In my mind. Or if like, oh, okay, you want to get snatch, I'm not understanding it. I know a bad neighborhood, they'll take you away.
Yeah.
Those what I understood as snatch. But no, there's a different meaning of snatch, of slim in the waist, bigger in the glutes.
Yeah.
And but they want that waistline to be so slim, which the thing is, if you can do me a favor now, you can actually touch your hip and you'll probably feel bone pretty close.
Yep.
Like right now I feel bone, so my hip cannot get much more slimmer. But what can happen is that upper and lower body, we can train the upper body and the lower body so the hip does look similar in proportion. Yes. So that's kind of the thing is that a lot of people don't understand is that upper body is very necessary for, and sadly I hear snatch more and more. So these snatch goals are pretty high and pretty common now. So if you want that snatch goal, you have to start understanding upper and lower is very vital. You can't just have one without the other. As you said, right here is the middle of people not knowing what to do. They'll either go one way or the other. You need both. You need to get into that, and you have to start, sprinkling your way through. Even if you're scared of upper body, you got to start at least little by little. Maybe do one bicep curl, one shoulder raise, one press,
It's not going to kill you. It's only going to do benefits.
I've
actually got another word from a female client that I had a few years back who told me that she told me that it was shelf season, back into the S's again here, shelf season. And I was like,
this dictionary.
What? I was like, what does that mean? And then she was like, do you know the picture of Kim Kardashian where she's pouring champagne and then the glasses on top of her butt. She was like, I want a shelf, like a butt shelf. And I was like, that image is just it's altered. It's not real.
It's Photoshop.
Which I think kind of goes into the next thing of like unrealistic goals in terms of women,
yes.
right? I've got a girlfriend, you know.
I don't.
All right, that's not what we're talking about. But women edit photos, especially ones with big social media influence. There is so much out there where it's like, my girlfriend showed me the back ropes. All right, I feel like she's pretty well versed in this. She knows when like people can get so good at hiding like reality on social media, where it's like they show you a picture of like where their body looks great and like this is what people should be striving for, and it's just physically altered, and it's just something that's really unachievable through like regular practice or like natural practice, if there isn't like any other like outside drugs kind of being used as well on top of it. So I think that's like another thing in the gym that kind of can scare people, where it's like even the women are intimidating in a way. If like, oh, they're looking like that, I don't want to go to the gym when I look specifically like this and other people look like that. Where it's like in reality, everyone's got to start from somewhere though. But like the gym, you know, it comes out as a scary place, but in actuality, it's not.
It's very friendly. And we've said this many times before, especially when it comes to the social media accounts that you see. Everybody is different, so everybody needs something different.
Yeah.
So women, when you see even men as well, when they see a social media account and they want that account, they're like, I want whatever that guy or that girl's doing. You have to understand genetics plays a part, the way you're built plays a part. So you may not get the same results doing the same things they're doing, and you cannot be discouraged for those things because we're all different. But that just makes you realize that you need something a little bit different that is catered to you and your own personal goals. So when you do and you see somebody like that, it's especially in social media, it's real easy to fall into and be like, oh my goodness, yes, I want to get shelved or snatched just like them.
Shelved or snatched.
You know, maybe perhaps they're both. Perhaps they're, let's combine the words. Perhaps
snatched with a shelf, you know.
Exactly, snatch shelf. And you have to understand that, hey, sometimes they had to go through a different route, or they're just actually trying to promote their stuff. Because I saw one that actually a friend that I know fell for it, where she paid this trainer tons of money because she specializes in small, petite women. Now, that itself is not a real certification. There's women certifications, yes, but a small, petite, now you may be like, oh, that probably falls in the category I am. You may not know that. You may have something much more different and much more of different approaches from your body that is needed before you actually fall into these social media accounts, because it happens more times than none. It happens more times than none. And first things foremost is rarely is it upper body focused. Not saying that you have to do nothing but upper body. Let that be known. You have to do both. All of it comes together, especially for women. It's necessary to be strong. So this kind of brings us to our next point of you need to be strong over. A lot of people want to be skinny is one of the things. Snatch, shelf, skinny, you know, like petite. But really, when it comes to it, and the future comes, because Father Time gets us all. Gets us all.
It does.
And the best fight against Father Time is you gotta be strong. The more you age, the tougher it is, and especially if you start neglecting one half of the body, the upper body, it is going to show, and not show like only in physical, but you itself will feel it internally. You'll understand like, wow, why is my shoulder so tight? Why does my neck hurt? And things like that you'll slowly start to see. And well, if I'm not trying to work for healthy shoulders, you know, it's gonna be real tight up here.
Yeah. But that's another thing that's also just a part of the whole, I think, like weightlifting experience. It's like if you come in and like, okay, I don't work out because like I don't want to get bulky and all this, where it's like, all right, if you're thinking about it from the standpoint of longevity wise, but you also want to look good, the good looks will come with it. The good body, you know, it automatically comes with it. You will be happy and satisfied with the results because like you're putting in effort. You're going to get something out of it rather than just feeling, you know, you'll see the changes. You are a human. I think you know your body better than any other person in the entire world. So you'll notice the smallest changes within weeks of just starting a program and just
Yes.
starting to do more.
And then those changes not only will be changes in physical attributes, but in mental stress wise, you'll be like, well, I feel less stressed. I feel more energized. I feel more all these things, especially because now in day and ages, life's a little bit more stressful, especially when it comes to work. Other things outside of it can be family, relationships, things like that. That stress will carry with you if you don't have a way to outlet it. And a lot of ways you can do it is the gym. The gym is a great way to outlet it. And I don't even think that's an actual word now. I'm starting to say it.
We're big dictionary guys today.
We're not the O's yet.
Yeah.
But either way, it's a great way to push that source into somewhere else.
Yeah.
And once you get that source going along, not only do you feel better and you look better, these things start to make strong headways on bigger victories.
Yeah.
So definitely the gym is very vital in those senses as well.
Yeah, in terms of stress, women tend to hold their stress in their upper back trap area more so than anything else. So that's another reason to do upper body.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're not doing anything to get blood flowing up there and you just keep getting here and just tight, it's going to build up over time. Also, make your boyfriends and husbands give you a massage, or your roommates if you don't have one, a boyfriend.
Or your trainer.
Or your trainer. Or no, get your massage therapist.
Yeah, massage therapist. Actually, we don't massage.
We don't do massage.
Good job. We stretch, but I'd rather you massage.
But that kind of gets us to our last little tidbit, which is also more so in the longevity thing. When we're talking about like bone mineral density. So everyone, we have declining BMD, bone mineral density, as we get older. But in women, it's a lot more common. I think it's something around like 1 in 3 women will experience some sort of bone mineral like deficiency overall. And this will lead obviously to osteopenia or osteoporosis, which is not good. So by lifting weights, I mean, this is probably, the statistics are probably due to the fact that women don't lift as much as men do in terms of like occurrence. But we need to change those numbers. We need to change the course of history here.
We're gonna spike those numbers up.
We got to get the women in the gym.
Let that be known. There's a good amount of women that actually do go to the gym, are very strong, they're doing great things. But this is a general population. When it comes to numbers, that's what we need to understand. Is most of the general population is probably not putting in the full body type of effective work, and it's very necessary as you're coming along, especially as we're aging. We can't emphasize how crucial it is that this work here is only going to enhance the life outside from just being, let's say, the couch potato to being like Reba, a single mom who works 2 jobs, who loves her kids and never stops. You think Reba doesn't work out? No, she puts in the work because she has a lot of things like that as well. It's these stress environments come from everywhere and anywhere. So it's very important that we prepare our bodies as we go along. That's probably the best word I can use. Prepare your body is really the main focus here where it comes. Because you have to prepare from lower bodies to upper body exercises and full bodies around. Now, is there an exercise that you would recommend for women to really start if we're going to really push them to the upper body days now?
I would get them doing just some sort of just compound push or pull movement.
Compound?
That's where we start, you know. So you could just start with, I'd probably start, you know, I don't throw people into a bench press, but we'd start with like a dumbbell press. Just, you know, again, we're getting balance between both sides. Again, if this is someone that's very new and they are just, you know, they're not like a young child or anything like that, that means we probably have some compensating sides of the body. So our left is not going to be pushing as hard as our right, or vice versa. So we get them on that dumbbell press to make sure both arms are equally working. And the same thing kind of goes for a pull. Basically a unilateral exercise where we can just divvy up the left and right side. This is where you're going to kind of see, especially in like a pulling motion, where you'll see evidence kind of women who do have a lot of built up stress over time, because you'll see their shoulders really hiked up. You might see some really protracted just shoulder blades where they're rounded in the back. But again, we're here to help, you know, but that's a great starting point, I'd say, in the gym.
My recommendation for women as the upper push is going to be a push-up. If you're a gal, and I know the gym scare you don't want to touch barbells and bench presses, the great way that you at least get understanding of what the feel is going to be able to push is going to be the push-up, mostly because it can be done at home. It can be done in the gym, in the garage, on a car, in the hill, by someone named Jack and Jill. Like, it can be done anywhere and everywhere with green eggs and ham. It can be done with a guy named Sam I Am. But the push-up is the most fundamental push movement. So especially when it comes to women, the upper body push and the upper body pull is very vital. And I recommend the push-up and not the pull-up, mostly because it's hard to get access to a pull-up bar and things like that. So the unilateral pull movements, as you were saying, is a much better start for you. And but yes, the push-up is something I would recommend most women to at least get a feeling of, even if it's not looking really pretty, just attempts, as I would say. Just give a few attempts, see what you have, and see how it feels and things like that. And from there on in, we can start understanding what a push move would feel like. And that's a good way to get yourself going when it comes to the upper body push.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good old-fashioned push-up.
Yeah.
And if it gets too easy, one-hand push-ups, clapping push-ups, no-hand push-ups.
Back flip push-ups.
Back flip push-ups. Because, they are strong and they are women. Okay?
They are.
Said somebody somewhere.
One of the strongest athletes I ever trained was a woman. Strongest pound for pound athlete was a woman. Over every other professional athlete that I've had to train.
Honestly, to me, it's much easier coaching women than it is.
Oh yeah, they're so much nicer.
They are.
They're so much nicer.
So let me tell you, ladies, your trainer wants to work with you. You are great when it comes to it. My favorite clientele, and yes, I'm being biased, are because they're just more open-minded to the gym and more like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to explore full body movements instead of the bro split type of guys.
Pretty
so
much.
If you're like, I don't know if I want to meet with a trainer, I might be too intimidated. He is very excited to have you, or she is very excited to have you. I would sign up as soon as I could. If that is an option you are thinking about. Your trainer is more than happy to work with you. I speak for all trainers now. Okay. But yes, that is what we have today for you guys, is make sure we're lifting, compound movements. Again, start slow, work your way up. We got to make sure we're strong or we are skinny. Both are great. You can be somewhat of both, but make sure you are getting strength overall.
Yep.
The misconceptions of what you understand is snatched. Hard to slim down the hip bone, but it is easy to put on a bigger back and a bigger butt to make it look slimmer. Things like that. And just anything else you have from?
That is it.
That's great, guys. Well, we will see you on the next episode of Cafe Con Leche in the Morning, Kanima Podcast. This is a spooky version. This is Spooky Cafe, Spooky Leche.
Happy Halloween!